I feel sorry for the zoo. They have no idea. Any day that all of you gang up to support your one Nigeria garbage, the more you're digging your collective graves. Nigeria can never ever be fixed. It's broken beyond repair. It can never be fixed.
Even the dry bones in the graves that are beginning to shake. They know the time has come. It's a shame that some people who are still living don't understand that, especially Igbo traders in Lagos. So set to go. Ladepo is the first phase of this very deadly salvo. They will destroy your businesses. After that, they will take over your houses. When I make work for them, I want you to be writing down what I'm saying. That is why Barrister will say, go and bring your pen and your paper. So that when we are speaking, you'll be seeing it live and direct. What we do here is science. When we tell you that if you mix 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, you will get H2O, which is water. We mean it. If you try it, you will see it.
As somebody once said, there is a method in our madness. We will draw their army down into our land. Their flanks will be opened up. Their villages will be occupied by bandits and terrorists that they themselves created. That by the time they are done and we have sent them packing from Biafra land, they will have no home to go to. All of them don't have no home to go to. The zoo is finished. And there is nothing anybody can do about it.
Good morning, everyone. Trust we all had a wonderful day. Night and Lord Larry, I can see you. Good morning to you. Hope you had a wonderful night first. Yeah, so there are a lot of things going on in the Biafra kingdom and Nigeria. All right, so I'm here to give you the gist of the day, but we started with the newspaper review. So we started with the Vanguard newspaper today. INEC wiped off results in Beavers. Forensic expert tells courts. Kanu and Graft Agency boss vows to reopen Gaduje's case. In Nigeria have lost confidence in judiciaries. That's from the lawyers. And Dokpe seed buried in country home at Negbode. And NLC, TUC, CSO, CSOs rise against hike in the electricity tariff. Tariff hike insensitive. An increase height of insensitivity suffering masses. This coming from the TUC. An action unfair, unjustifiable from the CSOs. And on the report, Nigeria needs $34.5 billion investment to provide electricity access by 2030. And bandits eliminated 3 farmers, travelers in Benin, Gwari. That's on page 4. And Kano declares 1-week break for schools. That's for the El Kabri celebration. Then presidency denies approving salary increase for political office holders. That's coming from the judiciary. The made in Nigerian noodles safe for consumption. That's from NAFDAC. And Governor Motfag, Nigerian Press Council, congratulate Eze Anaba. You see that on page 3 and page 11. And please, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscription button and click the like button as well. Then don't forget to turn on the notification bell so as to get notified whenever we're live or whenever anything is being uploaded. All right, so over to the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. It says Big Gates commits $7 million at meeting with Shetima. And INEC deleted FCT presidential election results on Beavers. Witness alleges. NLC kicks against electricity tariff hike. Says planned hike in sensitive colors. That's on page 3. Oilers worry over surge in kidnappings, killings to convene security summit. That's on page 29 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. Appeal Court reinstates ex NIH DG Dagwa and firm's industrial court judgment. That's on page 29. No approval for salary increase for political office holders. Presidency says. That's on page 2. Over 2 million to perform 2023 Hajj in Saudi Arabia. That's on page 13. And on the 10th March, we have North Central and South lawmakers for majority leader, juicy committees, Southwest McLeish deputy house leader. You can see that on page 4. The missing Titanic submersible crew confirmed after catastrophic implosion. That's on page 27. Please let's not forget to click on the like button. And if you have any comments, I'll post the link right away so you can join us via the link. So the link has been posted. You can join me here. And then over to the Guardian newspaper. No respite for Bayelsa Kogi rivers. 30 orders ahead of another cloud burst. Story continues on page 4 and page 5. Again, NNPC fails to remit as Federation shares 786 billion naira for May. You can see that on page 6. It's no longer business as usual in Nigeria. Tinubu rallies investors. Missing Titanic suffered catastrophic implosion. Passengers died. Forensic experts claims INEC deleted results on Beaver's machine. And 20% doctors, 33% nurses diagnose inaccurately. Federal government hints that's on page 7. And NLC controls government against increasing electricity tariff. And over to the Punch newspaper. The federal government, state, local government shares 786 billion naira May revenue. That's on page 24. And Labour discourse on coalition calls over electricity tariff hike. Terrorist planning attack on religious fund centers. DSS warns. DMO worries over low revenue as Nigeria debt nears 1 trillion naira. Federal government's 10 trillion naira revenue can't support fresh borrowing. This coming from DMO. And government to issue promissory notes as judgment debt nears 3 trillion naira. Paris summit, subsidy removal, FX policy needed for survivors, says Tinubu. Ogun tops as NPC registers 49,000 deaths in 6 months. Scholarship should not be relegated for money bags. LASU best students. You can read that up on page 7. Oshomule Adeleke orders bid fairer as Dokpesi's buried. That's on page 14. And so the Daily Sun newspaper. Nnamdi Kanu, Ohaneze, Mazop, IPOP, lambasts Asari Dokubo. At range over proposed 114% pay rise for Tinubu in orders. Presidency denies approval. Obi, CTA, Farotomi, orders slam federal government says situation in country does not allow for salary rise for leaders. And U.S. immigration lawyer testifies against Lagos deputy governor. NLC demands suspension in electricity rates, considered on page 26. And Tinubu to ABRD, a phrase Zikm Bank, we are ready for business. You can read that up on page 25. Dignitaries massive crowd bid DAAR founder Dokpesi goodbye. It was humility personified, says Bishop Dunia. You can read that up on page 27. Bill Gates Foundation to commit $7 billion on interventions in 4 years. You can read that up on page 8. And INEC deliberately deleted result from Beaver's forensic expert tells tribunal. Group begs Atiku Obi to withdraw case join government of national unity. and DSS alleged plan to attack worship centers during Salah. So the war is coming tough. All right. So on this day, newspaper, federal government state gets higher allocation as FAAC disburses 786.161 billion naira May revenue. FIR's target 40 million traders in French initiative to improve VAT remittance by informal sector. Sheriff's electricity tariff hike for collective safety, and NLC tells federal government. That's on page 6. Tinubu in Paris, ignoring Nigeria will be perilous to the universe. Joins world leaders to tackle debt poverty issue. Says is prepared for business, ready for investors to come to Nigeria. Meets with Affects Me Bank, EBRD president. At meeting with Shettima Gates Foundation, votes $7 billion interventions for Africa in next 4 years. And Tinubu meets the Macrons. That's the photo you can see there. And that's all on the newspaper. So before we go over to the other story of the day, I'll play some videos.
Lawyers for the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, INEC and the All Progressive Congress and President Bola Tinubu are back at the Presidential Election Petition Court for the continuation of hearing in the petitions challenging the victory of President Bola Tinubu. The day's proceedings gets underway with the petition of the PDP, who calls a digital forensic analyst, Mr. Hugh Tangwala, the 26th witness of the party. Led in evidence by the lead counsel to the party, Mr. Chris Uche, the witness told the court that results from the 110 BVAS machines he inspected were deleted by INEC. When he was cross-examined by the counsel to INEC, Mr. Abubakar Mahmood, the witness said he attached a standard device used for such an exercise to the machine to arrive at the conclusion with the authority of the commission. However, Mr. Mahmood informs him that the 110 machines he inspected are just 3.4% of the 3,163 machines that were deployed in the FCT and 0.06% of BVAS machines deployed nationwide. The witness also rejected an attempt by INEC's counsel to make him assess a BVAS machine in court. Counsel to President Tinubu, Mr. Wole Olanikpekun, also confronted the witness by questioning a portion of his report, where he said that from his inspection of the machines, nothing was wrong with them. Mr. Olanikpekun asked him how he knew that there was nothing wrong with the machines, since he was not in Abuja on the day of the presidential election. After the witness was discharged, the petitioners went further to tender Forms EC8A series from 20 local government areas in Ogun State, 17 local government areas in Ondo State, 27 local government areas in Jigawa State, and 20 local government areas in Rivers State.
As part of our strategy today, we called a very vital witness, a digital forensic expert. And you remember that this is the very first time we are having a technology-driven presidential elections in Nigeria. So the evidence that this witness has profiled today, a witness who examined the BVAS machines used, is very, very vital.
Next is the petition of the Labour Party. The party calls a cybersecurity expert, Chibuike Ogwoke, who insinuated that the Amazon Web Service could not have shut down as it was the responsibility of the service provider to be up and running. The service is the host of the INEC results viewing portal, where the election results were being uploaded. However, the cybersecurity expert points out that some uploads on the portal are incorrect, such as a picture of a book rather than a result. He argues that the chances of errors being detected after the deployment of an application are negligible. Hearing in the petitions have been adjourned to Friday for continuation. Emanuela Ekele, Channel.
Conversation between myself and Festus, the TUC president. The demand of labor include, the TUC specifically includes jacking up workers' wages from 30,000 as a minimum wage to 200,000. That, I don't know what percentage that is now. And petrol price came from 184 thereabout to over 500,000 naira. I mean, 500 naira. So it means that it's about 160% increase. Give us a sense of what this means, the purchasing power of an average citizen. If the approval comes, and I don't know what the federal government will approve eventually, whether or not 200,000 naira still is reasonable based on your analysis that if you were earning or you have 250,000 naira about 3 years ago, it comes to about 100,000 naira in Nigeria of today.
And that has no impact with the current subsidy removal. It has no impact on what exchange rate policy has been. It's just inflation that has been happening in Nigeria at not less than 20% on the average, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, with this new policy of removing subsidy, what we've done, when you look at national income equation, we said that national income equation is a function of what we are all consuming as household, the total investment in our country, and government expenditure. We need to pause there. Let's assume it's a closed economy, because if it's open, you look at the difference between import and export. But if it's a closed economy, you are looking at government expenditure. Subsidy is a government expenditure. Government is saying, hey guys, I'm not going to babysit you anymore. Yeah. It's not going to be a competitive economy. Government will not intervene. So government removes hand and say, household and firm, you have to pay. So this is breaking down the implication of the economy.
Meanwhile, what they used to have, the value of what they have has been reduced. Now from the reduction, the little that they have now, they have to now pay more.
Exactly.
For petrol.
Here is the challenge. The money they have is reducing. Government revenue is also spent on subsidy, trying to help household and firms. So here is the challenge for government. Government needs to survive. Government needs to have its two legs, on. If not, if government has every year we have not built any infrastructure, so in all of this, if subsidy must be removed, I'd mentioned time and again, even on this program, what must be done first?
What is that?
First of all, we need to have local refineries functioning. But we've gone past that argument because subsidy has been removed. That would have been the best, because when you say subsidy is not removed, if exchange rate changes from what it is today to any rate, say 750, 800 at official window, be ready to buy PMS at not less than 700 liters, 700 naira per liter in Abuja. You know why? Because we don't have control. It's completely outside our control. Hands. Yes, so we have to pay more. But if it's happening locally, government might decide to partner
to control
to control the prices. Then we know that economy will be relatively stable, because exchange rate is out of our control. We import a lot of commodities to the country, even though we export some kind of commodity. So we are hoping that if we have local refinery, they will reduce the pressure on the foreign reserve that we have that is giving us all of these challenges. So that said, too, what will drive even more inflation is food inflation. Because with the new policy, the person that is selling corn, even very close by, we all eat corn. This is a period where people are buying corn and selling all over the place, all over our country. The question is, the price of corn that was 70 or 50 naira last year is now 100 to 150 this year. What has happened? Does it mean that to plant corn, you need petrol, you need dollar? The answer is no. Because the man that is planting also lives in this same economy. And and his income has been depleted. For him to keep living, he needs to increase the prices.
Right.
That will affect rents, that will affect a number of things, cost of transportation. Yeah. So for you to earn more, for you to continue to live, you had better look for more means to earn more. But if time permits, we may share some other revelation.
So, for my audience on this program tonight, I'd like you to break it down. Let's talk, because con that you mentioned has a political connotation. It has been used on Twitter during the election period. So when you say corn is expensive, there are some guys who will probably begin a war on Twitter tonight about the cost of corn and what corn means. But jokes apart, let's get a bit more serious on the impact of some of the policies of the Tinubu presidency. Just in 1 month that this government came into power, the policy decisions and directives that are totally altered a lot of things. But some have argued that it will be a momentary pain, but for, again, some kind of gain in the nearest future. But let's be realistic and speak truth to ourselves. As a family, as a people in this country, are we to expect more pain in the coming days?
I think we should expect more pains. What is important?
How painful would it be?
Well, it will be very painful. There are so many other things, structural changes that has not been done in this country for a long time. So if there is anything you must give to the current president, is taking some structural changes. His statement, his policy are reforms in some ways. So you see the issue of FX, as dangerous as it is. Let me start with the issue of subsidy. Every gain from subsidy, so that we don't lose sight of all of this. President Buhari started the same thing, but people may forget. When he got to office, exchange rate was 199. Within 3 weeks, after a lot of pressure came from all over economies and all of those, he allowed central bank, gave central bank the permission to do the same thing President Tinubu did. Unfortunately, the administration did not invest all the gains that were made on that policy on infrastructure. So we saw some of the money went into the current expenditure. Eventually, the first year we saw 70-30. A lot of people were happy. Second year, 70-30. After that, it wasn't 70-30. So this administration must ensure that all the gains made from, what's it called now? All the gain made from subsidy removal goes directly into infrastructure. Yeah. That is how it can benefit people, because it will form part of government expenditure and investment. Then you are going to see more jobs, you are going to see more development. This is priority for government.
But it's as if we are working on eggshells right now.
Exactly.
And government needs to be very careful with its policy, because every of the policy can trigger one thing. And when that trigger comes, it has a dovetailing effect.
Yes.
And the people will bear the brunt.
So here,
say, for example, how long could this pain be? Because I'm imagining a lot of things. I'm graphic in my imagination. Say the first 6 months might be a bit turbulent, isn't it?
No, it's already turbulent. If it's going worse than the pressure, but I can tell you the pressure of exchange rate and subsidy will be with us for a while. In fact, inflation may remain double digit, perhaps for the next 1 year. That's the truth. Any economist that want to tell you the truth will tell you, because the two policies are coming at the same time. So if we put any other policy that will induce inflation, then it might be too dangerous. So we can see how to manage these two economic policies side by side for a while. And that is why it's important to look at structural changes in a long-term perspective, not what we can just do now and see what the implication will be.
And the consequence might be the more difficult decisions this government might make them politically unpopular.
Exactly. But you see, it's important. I love to play the devil's advocate. It's important to make some tough decisions. But we should not lose sight of 133 million people that are living below poverty line. They are living in multidimensional poverty, I beg your pardon. Over 80 million people living below poverty line.
Yeah.
So we need to balance all of these conversations. For me, it's important for us to say we have removed subsidy, even though there are things that should have been done before subsidy is removed. They are not done. What are we going to do? If you increase salary from 35,000 or 30,000 to 200,000, that would be a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
Because inflation is expected to go to above 30%. But does that mean you should not increase salary? No. You must increase people's income. But how do we do that? And who will drive this increase? That means there must be more opportunities for private sector to generate more income so that the economy can grow. And that is why for all of this to happen, government must invest 100% of all gains, about 7 trillion naira additional into infrastructure. So if you had invested 5 or 6 trillion in 2023...
Which kind of infrastructure are you looking at?
Rail, road, infrastructure, education, direct impact in the life of people.
There are those who are suggesting now that there may be possibility of sale of assets. Is that a reasonable thing to do?
Well,
to get more money. The last government has said we have a revenue problem.
Well, it depends on where. I don't really think generating revenue is an issue. I think the method we're looking at generating revenue is an issue. There are other revenue windows that we are not even optimizing, especially for subnationals, for states. There are so many revenue windows that states are not looking at. And that is why, if you ask me, subnationals will benefit a lot from subsidy removal because it's more revenue to them. Because when you get to fact, they have more money to share. But all of those money must go into infrastructure. This is because when people see the pain they are going through now, what makes people momentary is when they are able to plug into a private economy, private sector-driven economy or project government of their state is having, and they are able to increase their revenue or their income from that window. But if that not be the case, then I hope that you not lead to some crisis in their future.
Let me get a 30 seconds economic consultancy from you for free and for the benefit of our viewers tonight. If you're advising anyone earning about 250,000, 300,000, or even 500,000 out there, and you have said things might be tougher in the coming days, that means they have to tighten their belt and be able to do what exactly should they be looking forward to? What in terms of their expenditure and their purchasing capacity, what should they be looking at? Just in 30 seconds.
Well, you need to buy only those things that are very essential to your living. It's important you put your money in what, quote and unquote, will give you value, or as will give you value in medium term and in the long term. If you put all your money liquid in your hand and you are not integrating it to economy, such as putting it in real estate, when I say real estate, I'm not referring to just brick and mortar, everything that represents real estate, part of that income must go into it. The poor man remains poor because he spends everything he has, and at the end of the day, he's looking for what to invest. But a rich man is not necessarily the man with billion or trillion, but the man that had invested first. The best time to invest is when things are tough, because the gains are usually high. Now, you see, President Tinubu's administration will soon be looking.
Okay. Larry, I just saw your comments. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for the observation. John Ameda. It says this man is okay. You can join us in the comment section here and the live, and then air your view. That's what he have said. But the what stood out for me, like in everything that you have said, at least he gave a reasonable advice. Invest. But the thing is, how do you get the right place to invest? Is it everybody that really have the right channel to invest? That's on that thing. Well, let's just go back. Let's go to the major focus of today, which is Asari Dokubo. Let's discuss that. Okay, let me read the update on that. It says Ohaneze lambaks Asari Dokubo. Ohaneze Indibo has condemned recent outbursts of former Niger Delta militant Asari Dokubo, asking the federal government not to release indigenous people of Biafra leader Nnamdi Kanu. Its vice president, Damain Ogene, Ogene, in a statement yesterday, said Dokubo's views were prompted by personal and selfish interest to attract favor from the government. He urged the federal government to aid the call by Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Solundu and other stakeholders to release Nnamdi Kanu. Ogene said restoration and promotion of rule of law and respect of the fundamental human rights of individuals are key to stabilizing the polity and restoring people's confidence in governance. It said the continued detention of Kanu is not in the interest of the country since different courts of competent jurisdiction have already freed him. He assured that Igbo stakeholders are not relenting in the effort to ensure that he is released. Meanwhile, Ohanaeze said it had wandered into the demolition of some buildings at Alaba International Market in Lagos State and urged Igbo in the area to remain calm. The group said it was taking measures and sustained efforts to ensure peaceful resolution of the matter to protect the interests of the Igbo. Ohanaeze commended Governor Solondu for his political will and courage in focusing on delivering his promises to the people of the state, noting that Ewulobia flyover project and other infrastructural facilities would accelerate sustainable development and better future for the state. He extolled those affected for their understanding and collaboration with the state government in the ongoing infrastructural development in the state. So that's the major headline of that. Okay, now on the UK court begins airing on Nnamdi Kanu'S extraordinary rendition suit. We talked about this earlier on how that the family of Nnamdi Kanu has spoken with the UK court that they ought to have at least said something. They also have intervened in this issue. So now the UK court has taken it upon themselves to do the necessary. And it says the UK court has commenced hearing the appeal of the embattled leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Nigerian News recalls that Kanu was redictioned from Kenya in June 2021. He has since remained in solitary confinement in custody of Nigeria's Secret Police Department of State Service. However, the UK Court of Appeal had fixed June 22, 2023 to hear the appeal. Giving an update on the ongoing hearing in London today, Kanu's Special Counsel, Barrister Halo Ejimako, told newsmen that in an order on 8 May 2023, Lord Justice Lewis, a senior British court of appeal, granted the family of Nnamdi Kanu permission to appeal the UK court judgment that found that the British authorities could lawfully evade reaching any conclusion on whether Mr. Nnamdi Kanu has been tortured, subjected to extraordinary rendition, and arbitrarily detained. It will be recalled that in a ruling on 23rd March 2023. The UK High Court has declined Kanu's family's suit for judicial review of the failure of the British government to reach a firm view in Nnamdi Kanu's extraordinary rendition. So this earlier ruling prompted an application for leave to appeal to the British Court of Appeal by the Bindmans, the lead counsel representing the Kanu family in the case. While assuming jurisdiction over the appeal, Lord Justice Lewis of the Court of Appeals noted that the grounds of appeal raise important issues concerning the scope of the obligations on the respondent in relation to requests for consular assistance in respect of British nationals detained abroad, and the proper interpretation and application of the decision of the Court of Appeal in Al Abbasi, Secretary of State for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. That's 2003. For those reasons, there's a compelling reason for the appeal to be heard within the meaning of CPR 52.6. 1B, permission is granted on all three grounds, and citing the urgency arising from the continued solitary confinement of Nnamdi Kanu, and Court of Appeal ordered that the hearing of the appeal be expedited. Accordingly, the hearing was slated for Thursday, 22 June 2023, and it's currently on. So that's the update on this. So the hearing at the UK Court of Law is ongoing. So we await a positive response. We trust they do justice to the situation, to this once and for all. Okay, so that's a major thing. That's a major headline for today. And thank you all for staying tuned. Lord Larry, thank you. I can see your comment. Thank you to all the viewers out there. Thank you. Yeah, we have about 50 likes, but please let's click on the like button. Click on your like button. John Ameda, thank you. Lewawa Shuku, Nnamdi Ogo, good morning and thank you. Lord Larry, thanks for your comment. Namna Izzy, Abinenezi Williams, you're fine. Thank you all. And other viewers out there, thank you so much for your time, for staying tuned with us. We sincerely appreciate. And please don't forget to click the like button. Please make use of a super chat. So we're going to see you same time, same station tomorrow. Do have a lovely day.
Even the dry bones in the graves that are beginning to shake, they know the time has come. It's a shame that some people who are still living don't understand that, especially Igbo traders in Lagos. So set to go. Ladepo is the first phase of this very deadly salvo. They will destroy your businesses. After that, they will take over your houses. When I make work for them, I want you to be writing down what I'm saying. That is why barrister will say, go and bring your pen and your paper. So that when we are speaking, you'll be seeing it live and direct. What we do here is science. When we tell you that if you mix 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, you will get H2O, which is water. We mean it. If you try it, you will see it.
As somebody once said, there is a method in our madness. We will draw their army down into our land. Their flanks will be opened up. Their villages will be occupied by bandits and terrorists that they themselves created. That by the time they are done and we have sent them packing from Biafra land, they will have no home to go to. All of them don't have no home to go to. The zoo is finished. And there is nothing anybody can do about it.